This is a previously recorded Best of the OhioRAAM show.
Jim, turn your mic off. Hi, Leah. Let's try again.
Okay, hi.
Hi. And Erik, Newsholme in Colorado.
Yes, hey, Erik.
How you doing?
Actually, not too far from where Mark and Sherry live in Arvada, Erik.
Okay.
So, anyhow, we have with us Jim. Get those people lined up on top. We don't want to be on the top.
That's what I'm
While
doing
you're
right
doing
now.
that,
Yeah.
we have with us the female winner of the Race Across America and the male winner of the Race Across America. Jim, my first question, I'll let you have the second one, is tell me about your highs and lows, each one of you. Leah, you want to start out?
Well, the high was seeing the finish line, you know what I mean? And I think, I mean, it was the heat for the lows for sure. I think that, it's talking to Erik too, it's like surviving RAAM this year. It was hard to actually race it at your full potential. And I think that's why I've recovered so fast, like muscular wise. I think what took the most beating was my skin and the burns that all three of us probably suffered, like the lips and the arms and the back and the legs. So it was a challenge this year for sure. I mean, I've never rode in those kind of temperatures. I've never even walked in those kind of temperatures before. And again, it wasn't just through the desert. It carried on like right across to the finish line. So it was a tough one for sure.
Yeah. Lowest point for me was in Cortez when I had to go to the emergency room. And it wasn't actually heat related. It was actually a muscular emergency, almost. Symptoms of rhabdomyalgia, which is a muscle affliction, can get in your kidneys.
Ooh.
And it was the most pain I'd ever been in my life. And then, my Western nurse practitioner said, your body was just swelling from the heat. And yeah, after Arizona and Utah trying to kill us, it was just, and to try and get back on a bike. And, I was about ready to pull the plug, and my crew just got in my face and said, yeah, get back on a bike and go east. And the high point obviously is finishing the journey, and also being able to wear the American flag across the finish line. Being the first American to win since 2003 on the men's side. It was just awesome. And it's still sinking in with me.
Wow. Excellent. Excellent. My question, I guess, to both of you, and kind of going off what Erik just said, how much did your crew help you during the heat and the whole race this year? Were they a good part of it? Did they make you better than you've ever been?
Well, I can say for mine, I mean, if it wasn't for my crew, I wouldn't be sitting here in front of you right now. I mean, they had to work like dogs just to, to try and keep my core cool. I mean, we used frog skin, we used socks, that ice sock around the neck, and every 5 or 10 minutes when they were leapfrogging, a bottle of water over my head. And that wasn't just for a couple of hours, that was all day,
right?
And just to regulate, your body, they were on it. So my crew, I mean, I can't thank them enough. And again, it's not the individual that wins the race, is the whole team wins the race, because without them, you're nothing, right? You're not getting anywhere. You're not getting across that finish line.
Excellent.
No, and I'm the same way. I mean, my crew, they worked their tails off, and they were, it's always about figuring out problems and solutions to those problems as they come up. And, we train to be, our bodies are on autopilot. Mentally, we're strong, obviously we're really strong, but there's some things you're just not going to get in training, like 120 degrees, day after day after day. And like going up the RAAM Century, that 30-mile climb, I got an ice bath to cool down my core. And the same thing with Leah, the ice bottles, the ice on you. I had ice bags on my quads under my kit to keep me cool, and use the ice bath. And so, just a constant. And then, more figuring out problems. I had start of thrush, which is yeast in the mouth, because of what the kind of stuff we had. And I had the stuff for me, but it's just those constant problems and constant situations. We had 3 flat tires in my follow vehicle.
Oh no!
And they had to get a new tire. And those kind of things. So, but yeah, without the crew, and I call it Team E. just for that reason, because it's a team of people coming together. And a lot of them, are meeting for the first time in Oceanside or that weekend, and they come together, and the chemistry is just beautiful. And I'd say accomplishment lasts forever. The pain is temporary.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
So were these crews that you both have they been with you before, or were they just picked new for this year?
Mine have been with me from the 2011.
Okay.
So I'm fortunate enough to have this. I mean, I had a couple of new people, but they've been with me before. They've done other races with me. So I've been lucky enough to have people that know me and they know the race. So it's not so foreign to them.
Gotcha.
I had 2 crew members from my 16 race. The other 8 were new to crewing me. A lot of them knew me personally. And so it wasn't a big stretch. I did have 3 rookies on my crew, but they all performed flawlessly. I couldn't ask for anything better out of my crew the entire way. Their energy was great. And we just shared a beautiful journey, because there's only 12 of us that started, and a lot of them, went away. We didn't see each other too much on the road. I saw Leah's RV more than I saw her on the race. I got to share the road with Mark for a little while before he, unfortunately pulled out. So yeah, after Durango, it was pretty quiet out there.
I'd like to inject here because I know there are at least one person watching who's not familiar with this whole phenomena, that flat tires are not uncommon on the Race Across America or ultra cycling, because your car is driving over to the right and there's all kinds of junk and glass and bolts and concrete and your sleep pattern. Now, each one of you, I got the feeling, Leah, that you had a plan and you stuck with it through thick and thin. Is that how we saw it as dot watchers?
Yeah, you have exactly it. That's exactly it. I mean, we learned from 2019, we cut my sleep too early, and I think being sleep deprived too early, you pay for it later on, where you just have to keep coming off the bike and taking these power naps. So we stuck to the plan and went the first 40 hours, and then we stuck to 3 hours, 3 hours, 3 hours. And then the last 2 days or last 3 days, we went down to 90 minutes.
Okay. So as I said, as dot watchers, we look at those numbers and we look at your check-ins and so forth, and we try to extrapolate from that. But Erik, when you were on the show before the race, we know you have some specific sleep challenges, if I can get those words out.
Yeah.
Talk about it.
Well, I have sleep apnea, so I have to have my CPAP machine to get the proper sleep. And so I had been practicing in No Country for Old Men, and I had an inverter in the van. I did stay in a hotel twice, but the rest of it was in a van on the side of the road. And it was during the heat of the day, the first 2 days, and then we switched to my normal sleep time. But I was doing the same thing as Leah, 3 hours until that last weekend, Friday and Saturday, when they cut it to 90 minutes. But at that point, the sleep had been banked and the head was good. And I didn't have sleep deprivation issues at all, like I did in 16, where I was a complete basket case. And so when I got like the Four Sisters, all that climbing after Parkersburg, I was really having a good time.
Excellent. Did you guys learn anything for future races with all the heat and everything? How you would do something different?
I don't want to race in that kind of heat again.
Yeah, there you go.
Right in January, huh?
There you go.
I mean, I in 15 I experienced about 125 degrees going through Siloam and stuff like that. But then it metered out. That was like that one day. This year it was like 3 solid days of 115, 120 degrees, 95 at night. The only saving grace was the sun wasn't on you. Right. But then, when I did Wolf Creek Pass, I was in the rain and it was beautiful. I mean, I just, was off the bike in the ER and then slowly got to Durango for that sleep. And all of a sudden I'm rocking up Wolf Creek Pass. So I guess the message for people down the road are learning is you never ever give up on the body and its ability for, especially for us at this level, our ability to recover and come back day in and day out is words can't describe how we're able to do it. Leah the same way, 40 hours out on the bike and then first sleep, and being able to maintain that day in and day out, it's pretty phenomenal. It's
you guys
really
are both amazing, definitely.
Yeah. Thank you.
Back in the olden days, there was a lot of mind games that went on for RAM. Now that we have GPS, probably there's mind games that go on, but in a different way. We watched Leah with great interest as you were chased across Kansas and Missouri. Mark was always about 20, 25, 30 miles behind you, and we were wondering what was going on. It didn't seem reasonable that you would pace each other that closely, that long. And I surmised, I don't know what Jim surmised, that Mark was just waiting back there to spring on you. What were you feeling at that time?
Well, I know that he's done it, 11 times. So I know he knows the race, and I know that he likes to kind of push it at the end. So like through the Appalachians, but I was kind of on the same route because I excel in the mountains. I like the climbing. So I said, I'm just going to race my race. We had a plan, even if he passed me or not. And then I would race him more in the Appalachians because that's kind of where my strength is. But I mean, you just have to stick to what you have a plan, right? Because if you start racing somebody that early in the race, you're going to blow yourself. And I have from experience in the past of doing that. So we just stuck to the plan and then we played it cool. And then, we could see that we were gaining on him once he passed because he passed really fast and he was losing it a little bit. But again, I just stuck to the plan, and you don't even claim victory. Even when I passed him, you claim victory once you cross that line, right? So it was just keeping a cool head and not worrying about anybody else.
Well, I think he DNF'd just right after Chillicothe, didn't he, Jim?
Yeah, yes, basically. Close to where you passed him, I believe. You both were right together at that point. So,
yeah, we saw that and wondered what it seemed like the wrong time of day for him to stop, and the stop got to be longer and longer, and you knew something was not right. But that's too bad that had to happen. But, that's ultra cycling. That's any sport. Things happen.
What's your next big plans? Do you guys have any new races? Are you going to do RAAM again next year, or what are the plans in the future?
Well, I'm not going to do RAAM next year. I might do RAW, but I'm definitely going to come back to race it probably in 2 years, and I'll probably just do some shorter races. And then if our borders open up with the U.S. this year, I'll probably do the Texas race or the 508 or the Silver State, I should say.
Yes.
But we'll see. I mean, it was a pain in the butt to get across, because just with the borders being closed, it was very pricey just to have everything shipped with a commercial carrier and having to fly over and COVID test. I mean, I'm still in quarantine coming back, right? And plus my crew had to quarantine.
Yeah.
So that's kind of, it's a lot to ask, right?
Definitely.
So it depends on the situation, what's going to happen the next couple of months.
Gotcha.
For me anyways.
Yep.
Well, let's hope that we get things opened up so we can have a worldwide sport again, and I think all of us would love that. I think Jim and I both predicted that a woman would win it this year. The only thing is, it isn't the woman we thought it was going to be because she couldn't make it. But again, that's the sport.
Yeah.
Erik, future plans for you?
I'm just going to sit back and kind of relish into, all that happened. I mean, this is a culmination of years and years worth of work to finish this RAAM journey. And my goal was to finish it. And then, when Mark went down, I knew I was the lead male, and all of a sudden now here I come, the winner of this on the men's side, and second overall to Leah, and Leah and I got to share the stage, which was awesome. And then the first American, I'm the oldest person, man or woman, to win the overall gender division at 56. So there's a lot of that to take in and look down the road to try and, capitalize on it somehow. I mean, there's a big story and message that I have that I think resonates with a lot of people that, when you get to 50, late 40s, 50s and such, life doesn't end. You have the world at your fingertips.
Mm-hmm.
You just have to be good between the ears. And
Yep.
it took me a little while to figure that out. That was a little bit of a struggle my first 2 times, 15 and 16. This year was about to see if I'm one of the best in the world. And I can actually say, and I'm not speaking for Leah, but Leah is as well. We're a couple of top cyclists in the entire bicyclists in the entire world.
Definitely.
Yes, and it's quite an honor for us to have you here on the show with us tonight. And Jim, we've got to think about giving something away, but I have a little video that I want to show you guys. I think you'll appreciate.
I want to congratulate Leah and Erik and Michael Davis for their magnificent achievement at RAAM 2021. Has been a very challenging edition, and the heat, it made a lot of victims in the desert, including myself, unfortunately, but I'm very happy that they have been able to finish, and a big hug to all 3 of them, Leah, Erik, and Michael Davis. Thank you.
And that's the grand gentleman of ultracycling himself, Valerio Zamboni.
Definitely.
And I have to say a little bit of news, Jim. Actually, we had announced that he announced himself that he had food poisoning.
Yep.
He has determined, if I understand it, there's a name for it, but taking in too much water.
Yes. And
Without enough
right.
electrolytes, and I can't give you the name of it.
Yeah.
But they've determined that that's what happened to him.
Mm-hmm.
We're glad he's okay. Valeria, we hope we'll see you back at RAAM 2022 or 3 or 4 or 5 or
Definitely.
whatever.
Yeah.
So
One last thing for you guys. Do you have any shout outs to any of your sponsors or any charities that you want to give real quick?
Well, all my sponsors, I mean, without them, this again wouldn't happen, right? So they know who they are. There's a list of them. Yeah,
Okay.
of course.
Excellent.
and we do want to give a shout out to Leah's book. Okay, now limited.
No limits.
No limits. And in the show notes at OhioRAAMshow.com website, there is a link to that. Do you have a book, Erik?
Not yet, but I think that might be in the works.
Okay, well, let us know when you do.
I will. My biggest shout out would have to be to my wife, who's been my rock and my supporter throughout this whole thing. My crew was just phenomenal. The 10 people just came together as one. I kind of sponsored it myself because the race was so late, and we only had 5 weeks notification that we had a race and whatever. So it's actually, I have a sharpening business here in town, and so this was a advertisement for my mail-in sharpening at Erik the Blade on Facebook. So, and I actually Doug Shivington in Chillicothe, he had a knife for me as I rolled through.
Yes.
Mail it to me. We'll take care of it.
Did you have your your pedal sharpener there, Jim?
No, didn't have that there.
Packed, but
he had enough pedaling by then, hadn't he?
Yeah. No, but that's those are again, my wife has just been she's my crew chief for my first 2 years, and she couldn't be this year, but she was there from Ohio to the finish, cheering me on. She was on the side of the road, and of course she was there at the finish line, and that was one of the most special embraces I've ever had in my life.
Okay, great.
Well, listen, Spiegel Bikes, huge congratulations to you both. Thank you, Vesna.
Matt Geis, we popped up there. Yeah. Well, we can't mention everybody. We had so many here. You have graced us with your presence. Thank you for taking your time. And we wish you the best. And maybe we'll have you back. Do something great so we can have you back again. Okay?
Sounds great. Thank you.
Yes. Thank you both, and great job. Tremendous effort. Tremendous job for both of you.
This is Gregory Zuber, thanking you for watching and sharing.
Music by